Sherry, you popped in fast. You popped in super duper fast. All right. All right. I am getting all set up here. What's up, guys? It's your girl, Matt Cox with MA Couture Crafting. I am your quilty BFF, and we talk all things pop culture on this channel. So I'm popping in just to do my last and final recap of the Quilters, of the Sisters Outdoor Quilt Festival. It was amazing. Let me just start off by saying that I had the best time ever. And I just wanted to give you guys kind of an idea of what to expect, what happens, because I had a hard time finding information about it. And I don't know if the whole world knows about it the way that they should, although by the attendance, maybe the whole world does know. I just didn't know. So again, I'm going live just in case people want to hop in and have a couple of questions about it. I can answer it right here. The outdoor quilt show started with Jean Wells, and it's an amazing story of a woman who was a single parent and she was raising her kids, and she started something amazing that has just grown into a to be at event. I travel all around and I go to all these quilt shows and I go to all these events, and it's kind of my thing. It's what I do. But this one just is different. It's magical. I don't know if it's because we're up there in the mountains. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the people, but this one hits very, very different for me. So it happens the second week in July. It's kind of always that time. Everybody knows it. It happens in Sisters, Oregon. I didn't even know Sisters, Oregon was a thing. My family is from a really small town, and we pop into Oregon all the time. And I didn't know where Sisters was. I had never heard of Sisters. You have to be special to know about Sisters, Oregon, but that's where it is. The week prior to the actual festival, the actual outdoor quilt show, there's something called a Quilters Affair. And what that is there are a number of classes that are being held. It's like workshops that are being held up into that point. And the cool thing about that is you get a chance to have really intimate interactions with very prominent, popular teachers. As everybody knows, it's the only place where Tula actually goes to teach at this point. If you want to see Tula Pink, that's where you go, because that's the only place that she's coming out to actually still teach. Latifa, Sarah Filkey, Sue. Oh my goodness, why can't I think of her name? The lady who does all the wool. She sat at my table. How can I not remember who she is? Big heavy hitters. Sarah Bond. Why can't I think of Sue's name? Sue's last name. She does all the wool work. She's, amazing. Anyway, Giuseppe, just all kinds of people. It's just the cream of the crop teachers are there, and these are very intimate interactions with them, smaller classes. It's held at these classes, they're held at the high school, Sisters High School up there. And it is very well organized. When I first showed up, there were students outside from the high school that were out there with shopping carts that were helping ladies from their car to the actual classrooms, which was amazing. That's something you didn't have to worry about. A lot of people drove in. You will usually stay about 30 miles away, maybe in Bend. There are some rooms actually in Sisters, very, very expensive. You might want to just shuttle yourself in or drive yourself in every day. I say shuttle, but I mean drive yourself in back and forth every day. It's not uncommon to be staying about 30 miles outside of the actual event. People drive in early. Your first classes start at 8:30 in the morning, and they I think everything ends at about 3:30. They shut down. There are several events that are happening after your classes, but the classes are amazing. You've got your 1-day class, you've got your half-day classes, you have your 2-day classes, and these are probably some of the most affordable classes you'll see. Again, I travel all around and I do the things, and these classes were very, very affordable, and they were fun. And they weren't just straight up quilting classes. There were different kinds of craft classes that were super popular and went super fast. You have glass, like stained glass making, jewelry making, printmaking. It was just an eclectic list of classes and it was amazing. I talked about I stayed in Bend at the Element and it was lovely. They were great. I loved it. But again, I was traveling about 35 minutes to get there every morning. That wasn't an issue for me. It was fine. It's a lovely drive, easy drive. There are some people who I know stayed at the RV park that is near there. They had a great time with that. And again, there are some bungalows and whatnot, and Airbnbs are all the rage, and people rent out their homes. This is really a town kind of event. The whole town knows and depends on this event. It's a big, big deal. You can also rent machines there. I think it's Cynthia's sewing and vac. The guy there was absolutely great. They had him on campus. He was able to fix any machine just about. He would come to your machine and he wasn't asking for a fee or anything like that, but he was there on site to help you with any machines that were doing some funky stuff. And you could rent machines there so that you didn't have to travel with your machines. But most people actually traveled with their machines. I brought my husband's fishing trolley. There are quite a few ladies who did that to help you get to and from if you have a bunch of stuff. Do not bring an iron. They don't allow for that because could you imagine if 1,200 people, that's how many students were there. There were 32 or 34 teachers and 1,200 students. Could you imagine if they were all plugging in their irons? They've shorted the school, they know. So they have irons set up for you to use in really great locations. And they have it set up so that there's not really a whole lot of overlap with people needing to use the irons in different classes. It's actually just genius. The whole thing flowed amazing. For lunch, they have the availability for you to purchase your lunch prior to your in the mornings. And that way, when you get out of your class, your lunch has your name on it. You grab it, you go sit. There's tons of seating inside the main hall, tons and tons and tons of seating for people to eat there. You can eat outside on the lawn. It's beautiful. Or there are a lot of people who made their lunches and brought them in. If I were doing this again, I'd probably make my lunch and bring it in. That's probably what I would do. What else? Lunch, um, tons of tables, teachers, there's a cafeteria there that has, limited amount of sodas and snacks and, something if you need to have if you're feeling a little peckish and you need to step out and eat a little something, they're there. But the cool thing is they actually build a store in the middle of this huge cafeteria that they've built. And it's great. It's absolutely great because if you are missing something from your class, more than likely, if your class required it, they're going to have it. They had the patterns, they had the rulers because people forgot their stuff or didn't know and didn't look at the syllabus prior to what they were doing. So it was just, again, so well thought out. They have fabric there in case you decided, oh, I want to try to match this. And people use that store all day while they were there. Um, their after hours events that I didn't know about, and I hated that. Bingo is really popular. If you think that you want to hang out with people that do it. Definitely, definitely, definitely try to sign up for bingo immediately. Apparently, it's a really good time. It's a thing that everybody does. There are some walks and talks and things. So definitely look for the extra events. There are events where you can just sit and sew. Check that out. Somebody asked about how many quilts there were. They hung 1,100 quilts, which is insane because it's a 1 day show. You got 1 day to get this right. And in the mornings, there are tons of volunteers. The whole town comes together. Be sure to ask people before you get there where to park. You want to be sure that you're not parking in an area where your car will get towed. You want to be sure that you're not parking in an area where you can't get out because this is a very, very, very well attended show. You're talking about a town of maybe a couple of thousand and then a show that brings in upwards of 10,000, maybe to 20,000 people. So it gets very, very hectic up there. Also, know about the weather. In the mornings, randomly cold, very cold. In the evenings, once that sun starts going down, which takes forever, Sun wasn't setting until like 10 o'clock, which is crazy, but it gets cold. It gets chilly at night. So the middle of the day can be hot, but it's a dry heat. So it's not horrible. Um, when you are doing the outdoor quilt show, be sure to drink your liquid IV, water, liquid IV, have a hat, be prepared for being outside with the sun beating down on you. Be sure not to get dehydrated because that will just be a mess. And so prepare for that. And hats are the way to go. I had an umbrella that just would have been too cumbersome. I would have been hitting everybody. Just bring a nice brimmed hat to block yourself and then make sure that you have your water or whatever you need to drink to stay hydrated with you. And also, something that I did that I was super grateful for is ask where the bathrooms are, the good bathrooms are, because it is your outdoors and you just don't want to have to be using the porta potties. So ask where the good bathrooms are. And also be sure to get yourself a map. And this map tells you where all the special events are in the town, because again, this is the whole town of Sisters right there, where it's just everything is something. Everything is a quilt exhibit. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And I'm sure that I missed some stuff. I probably didn't get it all, but this will at least give you an idea of what to expect when you go and what to do to go, what to bring. Bring your traditional sewing supplies. But again, don't be trying to be like me. I brought a whole table and an iron and some extra stuff. I definitely overpacked. Try to pack light because I was just annoyed with how much I packed because I had to unpack all that stuff and half of it I didn't need. So, although I did have whatever anybody else needed, I just overpacked. So, try not to do that. But other than that, guys, this is an absolute magical. Oh, and then there's a guest speaker. This year was Jennifer Shampoo, and she was excellent, very inspirational, beautiful quilts, just a good time, guys. So if you get a chance to go to the quilt show or take any of the classes, I suggest you do it. If you see a teacher that you're really into and you see that they're teaching at Sisters, go. Definitely. The teachers there were, I mean, there was just no negativity. Whenever I go to these other shows, you always hear a little chatter about something going a little wrong here, a little wrong there. This was smooth. I mean, smooth as a baby's bottom. This was easy to attend. You just didn't have to worry about anything. Everything had already been thought about for you. All you had to do was show up and kind of know where to go. And actually, you didn't even have to know where to go because right when you show up, because I was like, well, how am I going to know what classes to go to? There are people, there are tons of volunteers around. There are tons of people running this show, and they were outside telling you where to go. Just don't worry about anything. There, just show up. All you have to do is get your room and just show up and have a good time. This was absolutely the best show that I've ever attended. I would love to make this an annual thing. I don't do well in heat, so I was super nervous about that. I made it through the show, but the heat thing, I'm going to have to try to figure out how to beat the heat. But other than that, this was just magical. It's something that I really want to try to do again and again and again. I got a chance to meet Valerie Wells and Jean Wells, but Valerie is special. That's a special person. Her daughter is special. They are special people, guys, and I think that they are worth supporting. So I have done my part. I have sung their praises. I have told you guys about the event. And I like that the teaching staff is super diverse. Now, the attendees, well, they're not there yet. Not quite, but hopefully it will become more diverse as we go along. But the teachers were excellent. She just had the best pick. You name it, there was something for you there. It was excellent, 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 excellent. And the shopping was great. They have a couple of quilt stores that change their hours so that you can do some of the shopping. Again, check my daily recap videos. I did a couple of them, but this one right here was just kind of a whole recap about what to expect and how magical it is. And I just want to encourage you to try to go if you can. If there are no other questions, let me see. Nope, I told you about how many quilts. If it rains on Saturday, they pull the quilts down. I've heard that they pull the quilts down. It's happened before, but I don't know, at what point then what do they do? Do they just wait it out? I don't know, but they definitely bring the quilts in. All right, guys, if there's nothing else, please consider commenting, subscribing. Check out my other shows that I've been to. I usually take you guys with me. If I'm there, you guys are there with me live. We're walking around, we're doing the things. So, yeah. I will catch everybody on the next one. All right. Bye bye.